Now, storyteller Gcina Mhlope will keep children educated and entertained for 10 days during the COVID-19 lockdown with a daily 5-minute online story. Now, private higher education institution Mancosa School of Education has partnered with the Gcinamasiko Arts and Heritage Trust to get Mhlope, the world-renowned actress, playwright, storyteller and author, to keep children captivated with her iconic voice and knack of storytelling. She joins me live now on the phone to tell us more. Mam Gcina Mhlope, a very good morning to you and thank you for your time. Parents have had so many challenges during the national lockdown, keeping children entertained, trying to homeschool and really just battling to keep the children entertained. You've come out to say you've got some answers. Tell us more about your project.
A very good morning to you. Indeed, everyone is trying to make a difference from whatever profession they are in, and we are honoring a lot of work that has been done by people at the forefront of it all. This is a major battle that is being fought not only in South Africa but around the world. And we who are older, or even children who are a bit older, are not liking all of this staying at home for so many hours and what, but they do understand why. The little ones, even if you explain 3-4 times an hour, it still doesn't make sense. And so we have got to find creative ways then of captivating them, spending time with them, and they get to know their parents. And to be able to share stories on this platform in collaboration with Mancosa and Gcinamasiko Arts and Heritage Trust, it's a very, very important element of our education. Art in education brings fun, brings creativity, brings imagination, and stimulating the mind of the child so that they can, for a short while, leave that space where you are confined and you grow some wings and fly out to the places where the stories take you. Extremely important.
Now, your stories always come with an African theme, which also really exposes children to a very wide vocabulary. In terms of the ones that you've selected, what criteria did you use this time?
I chose stories that I know have been heard before, but I also added other stories. One of the stories that I have added in the stories that I've chosen is it's called the Sawubona Zoleka. The number of times I have been phoned by teachers or parents shouting at me, "Zoleka is out of print, what's wrong with you?" So when a stranger phones me and shouts at me and asks me what's wrong with me, it's because Zoleka is out of print. Yes. And so I'm glad about that. And so I've added Zoleka because I know parents and teachers love Sawubona Zoleka. And also, I've brought a story like Tulani and the Sugarcane, where things happen when you least expect them. First, it is the music that comes into his life that he didn't know. He had never even seen umchingo, the bamboo flute. And then, after umchingo, other things happen. The jealousy and the other boys that he used to play with, suddenly they don't like him because he's getting so much attention. And they take away his flute and other types of magic uncontrollable. So sometimes we cry about small things, but we don't know that it is opening a gate to something else. And so in these difficult times, maybe we are sad that we can't go to work, maybe children can't go to school and all of that, but the little bit of magic is us being together with the ones we love. Some children, their parents leave early in the morning at 4 o'clock to go and get public transport and stand in the queue. By the time they get to work, they're exhausted. In the evening, they come back and the children are yawning, they want to go to sleep. They hardly spend time with their children, even though they live in the same house. And so at this time, we are not looking forward to more lockdown, but this time, let's use it to reconnect with the loved ones. And those that are not close to us, let's share some stories with them.
You speak about a little bit of magic. And of course, we know that that little bit of magic also comes with an iconic voice, with a real passion for storytelling. And that passion often exciting many children who dread reading, who don't like reading, and parents who also don't have much enthusiasm with encouraging children. How are you hoping that this series of stories encourages children to really get excited when it comes to picking up a book?
I find that once you do something a few times, and you know that saying, practice makes perfect, I don't believe that. I think practice makes better. practice, it will get better. And I think parents listen to the stories and they think, oh goodness, this child wants the story again and again. And once you do that enough times, you find a way, because you know your child. You find a way of adding some more juicy bits there, put a bit of buttons that shine and a bit of lace on that story. And suddenly they get to know your voice differently when you are not saying to the children, sit down and be still. Come on, eat your food and don't run, you're going to fall. For a change, the parent is saying something that is warm, talking to me as a child and sharing a story. And they're not shouting at me for being wrong all the time, like I'm a child who just must be reprimanded. So I'm hoping that storytelling is going to awaken different types of communication and compassion amongst the children and their parents and grandparents. And I know for a fact that there are many parents or grandparents who don't like being called Gogo or Mkhulu. They're still so hip, you know. They drive 4x4s and they're like so fancy. And they've got their fake hairstyles and then you call them Gogo. Like, what do you mean I'm a Gogo? Get used to it, eh? Get into that space and tell some stories. You know, stories make the world go round.
Thank you so much for your time, and all the best to you. And of course, children will be waiting in bated breath to hear your voice and hear those stories. The magical voice of renowned storyteller Gcina Mhlope, who is going to be entertaining and educating children through the 10-day, through the lockdown, with a 5-minute online story.